Small phones are coming back. Hello my friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Returning Retro, where we talk about some vintage tech, some retro tech, and above all, intentional tech. And I have to say, so far, 2026 is shaping up to be the year of intentional tech, and I am here for it. So today's video, we're gonna be talking about the little iKKO Mind 1. Love this device. I've been testing it out for about a week now. I brought it back with me from CES, which was really great. I got to meet with the people from iKKO, super nice. I met Shiki, talked with her for a while. Yes, she's real. Let's jump over to the tabletop. I've got a bunch of things to cover. Let's jump into it. Let's give a hardware tour. So you've got the shutter button here, the power button, fingerprint scanner here. You've got your volume rocker here. Up across the top, you have a light sensor. It's not an IR blaster, a light sensor, microphone, and then this little guy right here is actually the button that engages the AIOS. So it's a handy little hardware way you can just turn it on or off right there. Over on this side, you've got your nano SIM tray. Down on the bottom, you've got your speakers, another microphone down there, USB-C, and then we're back. So around the back here, you've got a really nice feeling backplate, LED flash, and one of the stars of the show, the camera. Bonk, bonk. Works really well. Okay, for this tabletop, we're gonna split it up into two sections. We're gonna do a hardware section first, and then we're gonna do a software section after, and then I'll give you some closing thoughts right at the very end. So hardware-wise, one of the first things I wanted to talk about is just how good the Mind 1 feels. The frame feels great. I don't know if it's a brushed aluminum or what exactly it is, but it feels great, solid in the hand. Overall, it's got a good heft to it. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. It doesn't feel cheap at all. As far as the shape of it, it's almost a square, almost perfectly square, not quite. But let's also do a couple of size comparisons while we're at it here, just so that you guys can kind of get a better feel for exactly how big it is. We've got to do a side-by-side with the Blue Fox NX1. So taller, thinner. Give you a side-by-side with the BlackBerry Classic. In this case is the Q25. I apologize, you can hear my kids playing in the other room. iPhone SE Gen 2. So you can kind of see, maybe turn it around the back, you guys can get a good feel for the size. And then in their marketing, they've called it a card-sized smartphone. So I'll just show you a card next to it. A little returning retro card there. So it's about exactly as tall as a credit card. In fact, ooh, that's almost flush, maybe a millimeter off. Obviously it's a little fatter though. I really like the screen. I really, really like the screen. So I checked, I went into the developer settings and I was able to verify that it is 90 Hertz. I don't know how else to tell you guys. It feels great using this screen. For my purposes, guys, the camera is fine. I mean, it's definitely not a flagship camera. You're not gonna be, taking comparable pictures to what you could get with a Samsung or an iPhone, but for my purposes, it's great. I'll get a couple of sample photos here on the screen just so that you can kind of see. So, and I don't even know if this necessarily is a flaw, but the square form factor, I find myself, in fact, I think my friend Ola mentioned this or something similar to this in his video. I find myself pressing buttons when I don't mean to. So you guys can kind of see my hands are rather large here, but I cannot tell you how many times I accidentally found myself holding the AIOS button and this screen would pop up, or countless times I would just be holding it in my hand and the fingerprint scanner right here would be trying to scan on my palm. Just bear in mind, you do kind of need to get used to holding this very unique form factor. Again, also a problem that the forthcoming snap-in keyboard case would probably help in a lot of ways. And speaking of potential shortcomings of the Mind 1, there's no getting around this guy's battery life. I think the fact that it has a pretty decently powered processor combined with this gorgeous screen and 90 Hertz refresh, it struggles with the battery life. So in regular mode, I was able to get about 3/4 of the day before I had to put it on the charger. Now in Jake mode, which for those of you that are familiar with the channel here, Jake mode, what I do, I disable every single thing that I can on this. I turn off location, I disable all of the built-in apps that I can, and I only have these apps right here: phone, messages, so texting, Telegram, so a messenger app, sometimes it's Telegram, sometimes it's Beeper, and Spotify. With Jake mode, I was able to actually stretch it out to about a day and a half. So keep that in mind. Again, another thing that Snappy keyboard case will probably help out with. Now, I already did mention this briefly, but the processor that this has on it, which I'll give you a link to the website with all the specs. This is a snappy little device. I've been very impressed. So the processor combined with the screen, while it maybe hurts the battery life, performance has been really great. I don't do a lot of stuff on my phone outside of just your usual, a little bit of social media, texting, Telegram, that kind of stuff, some audio, YouTube. It never stuttered once. So talking about the software, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So I believe it is on Android 15, yep. And it is Play Store certified, Play Protect certified. So you'll be able, Android Auto works, RCS works. However, it doesn't currently pass the required integrity checks for things like tap to pay to work, or in a strange instance, my garage door app to work. But that is something, I'm talking to the folks over at iKKO, it is something that they are working on and should be something forthcoming in the future. So the stability, however, of their Android 15 build here has been excellent. I've been super surprised. I've been very impressed with just how stable the Android OS has been. Now, I don't want to go too far into the AI OS. I actually would direct you over to the video that Ole had done, or also the video by Jose. They go into this and give you a little bit of an overview, but I will show you how it works here. So I held down on the AI button up there, and you can see it's got a very straightforward layout here. And you have AI chat, AI study, and then AI notes. vSim, not yet ready. Again, go check out those other videos if you want to know a little bit more about the AI OS. Now, one thing I did want to talk about here, and this is something that Ole also mentioned in his video, is the audio quality. And I'm talking about that in the software section for a reason. They have not yet finished tuning the audio software on the Mind One. So right now, you've got a very airy, tinny sounding audio coming out of the bottom here, but I did confirm with them that they are going to tune it to where both speakers, the earpiece and the bottom firing speaker, will be used for stereo sound output, and then they're going to go in and fine tune it as well. Two other little things to be aware of: the virtual keyboard when you're typing in text input fields can often cover the text input field itself, so you kind of have to guess a little bit. Now, I did find something just before I started recording this that helps a lot with this, is if you go into your settings and you go to display size and text, come over here and turn both the font size and the display size all the way down. And I'll show you a little trick here. With Gboard up, you press the more options button here, and you can go to the resize option, and then you can make it as small as it'll go. Again, you would have to get used to all of this, so there is a bit of a learning curve, but I've noticed that it significantly increases the amount of stuff displayed on the screen and can help a lot in that regard. Speaking of which, social media on the Mind One. So let's just jump over to Instagram, and I can kind of show you guys here a little bit. So here's an example right here. In order to see this whole video, you do have to scroll. So this aspect ratio issue with the Mind One is prevalent across not just social media apps, but even just using the web. So it is something that you have to get used to. Now, noticeably, this was not a problem that I ran into with the NX1, because as you can see, the aspect ratio is wildly different because of the form factor of the NX1 compared to the Mind One. However, I actually can really appreciate it. Why? Because it helps me spend less time on my phone and more time in the real world. I like it, but I wanted you guys to be aware of it because your use cases might be a little bit different than mine. So you might be wondering, what are my initial thoughts of the Mind One? It's a cool device. It is not exactly what I was expecting, but in more ways than one, for the better. Overall, for this company's first phone, and such a unique one, I am very impressed and excited to see what is to come. Naturally, also, the big eye catcher for me in the first place was the Snappy keyboard case. I'll keep you guys posted on how all of that goes, and some of the issues that I'm running into with it in this form might be remedied by that case. So I will keep you guys all posted. Thanks so much for being here. And if you would like to support the channel, I don't have any affiliate links for the items that I've reviewed, but I do have some affiliate links for some things that I really enjoy. So check the video description for that. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the next one.